Hi, my name is ProjectHope, and today we are talking about Jean Piaget. Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist known for his work on child development. He placed much importance on the education of children. Piaget fundamentally changed the view of how a child learns. It was his belief that teachers were the expert observer and the essential guide to helping children build their own knowledge. After interviewing hundreds of children, he concluded that kids who can make mistakes are often able to correct them and find solutions quicker. Piaget had four main points when it comes to early childhood education. Those include, number 1, children can create cognitive skills through logic and mathematics. Kids can comprehend and solve problems. Number 2, knowledge is gained through a direct and interactive environment. One key thing in keeping children engaged means providing a space where they can be active and interested. Number 3, the physical environment plays a vital role in the development of children. If the classroom is chaotic, then the child will be overstimulated. This can determine the attitude and behavior of that child. Finally, we have stage 4. Child development takes place in a series of stages that, while the rate of development is never the same, the sequence of events never changes. Now, we can begin to look at Piaget's 4 stages of intellectual development and how they affect a child throughout their life. Let's start with stage 1. Sensory motor. This is the stage that occurs from birth to around 2 years old. In this stage, children use gross motor movements like walking and squeezing to construct their own knowledge. At this point, they feel as if they are the center of the world. Children at this age use everyday items to help solve their problems and depend on concrete examples for what to do in certain situations. They also begin to develop object permanency, where they can understand that even if they cannot see an object, it may still exist. Next, we have stage 2, pre-operational. This stage of development has 3 sections and occurs between the ages of 2 and 7 years old. The first section of this stage is representation. This is where children begin to use symbols to represent events and objects. This can include drawings, types of play, and how they may speak. Kids begin to be able to understand specific concepts based on what they can see. Also, children will begin to accelerate in their language. This means they will be able to speak and form complete thoughts. The second section is conservation. In this period, children begin to think and act as if everything happens for a reason. Children are not currently able to conserve, meaning they are able to see that the amount of an object doesn't change just because there is a change in appearance. Finally, the third section is egocentrism. This is where kids think that everyone around them thinks and acts just as they do. This makes it harder for them to put themselves in other people's shoes. It also makes it more difficult to relate to their peers. Another part of this section is they begin to use egocentric or self-talk to guide themselves. Stage 3 is concrete operations. This begins around age 7 and will conclude around age 12. As they begin to grow and explore, they possess the ability to make mental pictures and specific symbols to represent their thinking process. With these processes, they can start to have the reverse thought. Also, children begin to understand that even if a person's physical appearance changes, their quality or quantity does not. For example, when children see the same amount of water in 2 different shaped glasses. There are 4 key terms associated with stage 3. One-to-one correspondence, classification according to characteristics, classification involving multiple properties, and class-inclusive operations. One-to-one correspondence could be something like 1 banana per monkey. Essentially, this is the basis for kids' ability to match and count. Now, classification according to characteristic could be something along the lines of brushing your teeth before or after breakfast. Children begin to classify events with things like time and routine. The third term, classification involving multiple properties, is when a child may classify objects based on things like shape, size, texture, and color. Finally, we have class-inclusive operations. For example, even if a child is shown 3 lemons, 3 apples, and 3 limes, and is asked if there are more lemons or limes, the child will still respond fruit. This is because a child can only see fruit, but not specific types. The fourth and final stage is formal operational. This stage happens from 12 years old all the way to adulthood. During this stage, teens begin to understand abstract ideas, have an increase in logic, and use deductive reasoning to understand ideas. They begin to think about social, ethical, moral, political, and philosophical issues that need theoretical reasoning. Their thinking is from a general standpoint on specific ideas and are challenged with hypothetical problems that require more thought. Now, Jean Piaget had a lot to do with what education is today, but four main points have stuck over time. 1. The environment plays an important part in the education of children. The area in which a child plays, learns, and thinks can have a lot of effect on how they behave, how they speak, even how they retain information. 2. Children are better learners through active experiments. For children to really learn a concept, they must be challenged and engaged in what they are doing. This means educators should ensure that they are mixing hands-on activities with their normal teaching routine. 3. Education should focus on the child's capacity for new knowledge. Educators should strive to use what kids already know to help them develop a construct for new information. And finally, number 4, acceptance for all children as they progress through stages at their own rate. Although children move through the same stages of development, they all move through at different rates. We should allow them to grow and learn in their own time to maximize their ability to acquire knowledge. Thank you for watching. My name is ProjectHope, and this was the history of education about Jean Piaget.